Yeah, that worked out. Cool. What's up, everybody? How we doing today? Good? Aside from Tesh trying to work through tech issues, poor guy.
I'm so laggy.
It's okay, we still love you. We still love you, Tesh. So how's everybody doing well? Neil's putting meat in his mouth. Jake is looking like, currently like he belongs in Sparta. But when he lets down his hair, we know what the Romans really did with him. Let's see.
Wow.
So yeah, it's funny. The name of the name is the name is the name. Why is the name? How's the name? Who's the name? In chat is talking about playing Kingmaker the video game, which is funny because I was playing that video game after Neil and I were talking about really wanting to play a Kingmaker tabletop, and obviously you all kind of know how things went from there. The thing is, when I played that game, and I never finished it because, time, and then my save file got deleted. Totally didn't do it on purpose, but legit did happen by accident. So it's not just like an excuse. I should eventually go back. One of the things I talked about is that there's like 5 difficulty settings. There's you're not really playing the game, and there's fuck you, kill yourself, and then there's everything in the middle. I played the one that says life is pain. It's like level 4 out of 5 for difficulty. And I won't lie, the game is rather unforgiving. It is so punishing in so many ways. My question to you, chat, is what difficulty do you think we have these boys on? The super easy number 1, or the, fucking kill yourself number 5, or somewhere in the middle?
I think with chat, we go between 2 and 4. Depending on chat's mood.
Yeah.
That's fair, actually.
I feel like chat often throws a 1 at you. They very often
Yeah.
they like ball up some 1s and give them to you.
That's true. They make it vary a lot.
I think the longer and more numerous the speeches they have to suffer from Rayrin, they choose let's settle at a 4 every once in a while.
No. The people love it. The people love it.
You don't even realize the amount of DMs I get, Scott, from people saying, "Wow, I wish you just gave more speeches." Like Will is constantly like joking about it, but it's like in the playground way. He's like, "Oh my god, I really hope you don't do a speech. Don't do a speech to me. Oh my god." Because that's what Will's like. Obviously, we've all hung out with him. He's your brother. I mean.
Oh, that Will. Oh, I thought you meant better Will.
Well, I'm not. So I've only hung out with better Will like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, really? I've hung out with him in person more than that. Oh,
playing a variety. Well, I'm not a man slut. No, I'm not shaming. I've only played a few games with him. I've never played D&D with Will. We played like duck game.
Duck?
Like, yeah, ducks with guns shooting each other.
Oh,
Great fun with Dogsy. I feel we played that. What else did we play? Ultimate Chicken Horse. That was fun. I'm just saying words to Scott right now, and he's like, maybe I am a boomer.
Duck game, chicken horse. I'm just like, oh, you kids.
I felt, and what's the one that has Rat Battle in? Jackbox.
Oh,
It's less of a game.
I'm not a fan
More
of
of a
the
social construct.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
50,
of the Jackbox.
50.
But
I
like
could
the
do it for a
rap
bit.
battle one that we did on
The
Lost
rap battle
Initiative
one's
a
funny.
while ago, yeah, I was crushing Wade left and right.
The
there's
rap
one
battle ones are pretty good.
I gave him one that involved something to do with Molly, and then afterwards I felt bad because Molly's like an awesome person. So I was like, ooh, he didn't care, of course, it's Wade. But I was like, okay, good. I was like, I can sling some raps, yo. Me guts that. But anyways, they like rhyme with honey. And I was like, oh.
I just got another DM asking for more speeches.
Oh, and can you please screenshot and post that into spoilers chat?
Sure. I can do that.
Oh.
So fun fact, Scott was talking earlier about how ages ago now, me and Scott were like, I was like, man, I think it'd be really great to have like a Kingmaker game with like all these things, and we discussed it very briefly. And obviously I've got all of that screenshotted. So I'm just waiting for Scott to get big enough so I can then sue him for not giving me credit for my intellectual property.
Excuse me.
Where did you want it? Can you make a spoilers?
Yeah, King of your spoilers.
What I'm saying is he's called it Aurorum, but we all know what he really wanted to call it.
Seriously? Seriously, that's the DM that you post?
Look,
That?
you asked for it. I posted it.
Yeah, but that's like,
You don't understand. The Chosen. We're tight.
yeah.
It's not like that Regicide crew.
I think at
They
this
just
point you're
attack
rather
each other.
loose. But oh man. Oh god.
Ilan may have been a drug dealer. He didn't necessarily mule things, all right?
Look,
Oh,
you're not wrong.
The bot is on. Is the bot not functioning? Oh, it has to reconnect, which means I probably have to go and make it a new key. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Yeah, the bot is here. It's just the I have to get it a new auth key, which I'm not gonna do right now because I want to get into playing the game. And yeah. So hi everybody. We are doing a slightly shorter thing. Because technically speaking, we're going to end at about 9 a.m. my time. I have to be at work for 9:45 today because there's like an events thing going on. Yeah, yesterday I actually had to be at work at 9:15, which is another earlier time than usual, not the end of the world, and leave late. I'm like, I hate work. Work has been interesting. So, what are you going to do? Oh,
What,
no.
are you hosting like a
Tyler's here.
Republican meet or something?
Oh,
Tyler.
yep, absolutely. Gotta love them. Gotta love that Republic. Yeah.
Annoyingly, because I'm
Do you see
trying to
that
sort
video
out
of like
tech issues.
the opening of like the I don't really understand what's going on, but there's like it's like a Comic-Con but for Republicans, right?
Oh, the DNC
And that woman
and the
who's
RNC
like-
have always had their conventions. So
Wasn't that crazy though? Did you like just
Didn't
watch
watch it.
that one clip of the woman? Oh my
I
god.
don't know who you're talking about or what happened. I know the RNC
Literally, like,
last minute made a Zoom thing.
What
or something.
Oklo has just put, that is what it was like.
Oklo?
I
She
missed
like
what-
properly raised her hands towards the sky and was like head up and like screaming about a better America there. Oh
I
my
honestly
God.
don't even know what woman you're referring to.
I don't really know what woman I'm referring to either. I don't think I've ever seen it before.
I know I saw clippets of the DNC one, and I'm just like, Kamala Harris. Yay. That's my take on American politics right now. Ugh.
Now we've sufficiently beat down Scott's morale. Should we enter the game?
Probably should. When last we left
you know
off
what will
on
cheer you
Dungeon
up?
Zendo.
2 Trumps were dropped last week.
Yeah.
The good sort of Trumps.
Oh yeah, the good Trump.
This is the good sort of Trump tower.
the good Trump. I don't think it's a thing anymore. So yeah, that happened. Don't worry about that. It's totally not a thing. Don't worry about it. So hey boys, last week when you were playing, you also got build points, and I did apply those just so you know. Last week when you were playing, we ended with Jake's character and your characters having met and had a brief discussion about, I suppose, Jake's character's psyche, how his brain be not good, or that there's 2 brains in there. You talked briefly about the fact that he kind of has an understanding of the past to a degree. You also had a conversation with Mog, who was suggesting making a ritual to help the people while continuing to build your mind and so on and so forth. To help the people of Vigil, you also sent Phaedril with a little bit of a gift over to the Reggie crew. The Reggie crew didn't play their normal session last week as Rena was celebrating her anniversary. We'll see the outcome of that this Friday. And lastly, Ilan, back in Hod Gwen, had some conversations with leadership over there and eventually chose to stay behind to talk a little bit more about what they were doing. Was there any more that you two needed to do over in the Western Keep at all?
I think I'm good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that I needed to do there.
The only thing I can think of to do out there is we're sending people to Drazstone, aren't we? So we don't actually need to do anything.
You were sending, I believe, Arthur is going to Drazstone to eventually go further west to Amalta and then up to Taziendale.
Yeah.
He was bringing with him somebody, I believe.
Ravina? Question mark? Or no, it was someone who could hold themselves in combat, which I do believe Ravina could, but...
Oh, he also is capable. So,
I don't think we were sending Ravina.
I don't think it was Hansa. Hansa did not want to go.
Ravina was grabbing more information. That's what you were trying to send Hansa, and Hansa was like, I'm good, bro. So you were just sending him with some guard. And Ravina was...
I thought Ravina wanted to go investigate the town and
Drazstone,
stuff, right?
but not necessarily to Amalta and whatnot, correct? Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Cool, so that was the plan there. Awesome. So if there's anything else that you needed to do directly on the Western Keep, then actually it reminds me, I didn't put a vote up in Patreon. I got to do that today. That way I could have it for next week. So if you guys are Western Keep, if you're not doing anything there, then I imagine Rayron, do you bring this man? What's his name? Like Igor or something like that? Back home with you? Come on, buddy.
Spot on.
His name Crawl.
I don't know, Igor, I don't know if I want to change it now.
That's a
I
better
think
name.
you should, actually. I think you should, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should change it to Igor Daelric.
Nice.
Come here, boy. Come here, boy. You talking to them ghosts again?
My next PC is going to be called like Scottson Daelric. Something like just like a full-on Scott name.
A Scott name, that would be like NPC 7.
Like easy joke.
Do I boot him from the call? Do I do it?
No, it's too much effort, Scott. Yes, I think I would bring Crawl through.
Okay.
He's got the Mog Seal of Approval, so he's not trusted, but he's not terrifying. He's a bit spooky, yeah.
So when you go to bring him through the portal for the first time, so you literally lead him over to the room or whatever it is. Do you say anything, or is there any kind of like prepping him up for the fact that you're about to rock his world?
He knows. He's done this before.
Ivan, or what's his name? Strauss? Crawl. Crawl's been here before? Let's just chew for a minute.
His other... Yeah, you gotta chew your food, Scott. I can't just baby bird it like you just... That is like... Was it regicide you eating like spicy peppers or something? Like he had this long ass pepper and he goes like this and it's gone. And then he coughs and he's like, oh, it was spicy. It wasn't spicy. It was his gag reflex because that thing just went straight down.
I didn't have a fork. I want to run upstairs. So I was eating with my hand.
That was too much for me to type in chat, but I feel vindicated now that I've been able to say. Well, Crawl himself may not have done this before, but Crawl's friend definitely will have done this before. Special mind friend. So Raymond doesn't do him the courtesy of telling him. Special friend can tell him if needs be.
Okay, so when you go leading him into the room, it's one of those things where for you, Crawl, walking into it, you're just walking into a room for the first time. Never seen this room before. But despite that fact, you do have a degree of familiarity in it as you go. Familiarity as you've grown accustomed to, not from your own experience, but from the experiences of the person that you currently are sharing yourself with. You feel a bit of I guess joy as you go into the room. but you don't, again, have any understanding of what's going to happen next. A couple moments later, Rayrin nonchalantly, I know he's a bit showboaty. He probably actually just literally roll up his sleeve and go over, and he bends over the table. Yeah.
I had to reinstall webcam driver, so I have to restart.
You go right ahead. See you in a moment. And
I'll be back in a second.
pulls up the two little things, and then all of a sudden he that's okay. It's just Rayrin that gets fucked. Me and yeah, what's up, Jake? Got you. So anyways, the two things are linked. And again, to you, it's your first time experiencing this, but you feel familiarity coming from inside of your mind. So it's nothing that kind of throws you off at all beyond like, okay. And you just trust it. When the doors opens to the other room that's identical to this one, and then shut, and then you're inside of a different place, it's one of those things where, again, you're going through the place for the first time ever, and you feel familiarity with it. Again, I don't know if it's addressed at all at this point to either Neil, as you're coming through into Kurzfall for the first time, or if you just leave that be.
As we'd open the door, Rayrin would glance towards Coral and say, "Tell me, does your friend know what this keep was used for? I have my theories, of course. Farming, production of crops. But, let's say, having a first-hand source that doesn't want to eat you is always good."
He looks around and he says, I feel a familiar. Anyway, you know the word I'm trying to say.
It's late.
Yeah. This feels familiar. There we are. But I don't have the information that you're asking for.
See. Tell me, Kroll, you knew my name. You knew something of me. What was it you were, or who were you prior to becoming what you are now?
Well, I was Pearl. No one special. I lived close to the keep we just came from.
See.
I didn't really know anything of you before. I still don't.
Really? You didn't? I sort of presumed at first that you'd heard of me. I suppose Adira is a large place. Well,
We didn't
I will do you the
get
courtesy.
around all that much.
I see. A farmer, perhaps?
Perhaps.
I suppose I will do you the same courtesy. As you know, my name is Raven.
Progress.
Oh,
Sorry.
welcome back. You're very bright now.
Yes, but it's also
So
the
sorry,
original
Ellen's just
setting.
in his light form.
Is
My
that
name is.
is that Jesus Tesh?
My name is Rayrin Corvain, as you know. I'm originally from Malta. However, I was drawn here by the whims of a god, it would appear.
A god?
Now, I serve the Arbiter. The god.
You see on his face there's actually a look that comes over it, and it's of disgust. And then it just passes.
We're trying to make Adir a better place.
Okay. Where are we now?
Kurzfall, our
That's fine.
capital, if you would be so bold as to call it that, if not premier settlement. It is the first of our holdings, and it is beautiful.
Come, let me show you around.
Nods.
Raymond would proceed to show him around the town somewhat.
Cool. Just to flip cameras, Neil, I think if you flick yours, that might fix it. Just real quick.
I'm lost, sir.
No, you're first now.
Or
second. My apologies.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's new.
Jake is my best boy right here. What? High five, Jake. So, anyways, so yep, things always get switched around every time we are missing somebody for a session. So,
That is so much better.
oh yeah, you look like a person. So, and we always assumed you were a person, but we didn't know that before.
I kind of presumed that Tesh was just like a floating head.
So, fun fact, I literally just went and
Attach my head to my body.
downloaded the older software, and it worked.
Nice.
The new software did not work.
Did he just jump for everybody else? Like his
What?
head went from here to here in skipped frames. So it was like, no? Okay.
I
Maybe just
wasn't
me.
really paying that much attention, but like, obviously there's going to be some disconnect. He's only just put the head on.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was good. Well done. I approve.
All right, so and then you can show him around a bit or whatever it is. Jake, just to finish up with you before I go to Tesh, who probably wants to finish making sure his computer is functioning right. You as you're walking around this keep again for the first time ever, as you walk around this keep, you can notice that it is very different than how, like, whenever you turn a corner, and for some reason you have this expectation, we know why, but for some reason you have this expectation of what the room around the corner is supposed to look like, or how the structure is supposed to be, so on and so forth. And it's off. Everything seems a bit off from what you would have expected. I mean, a keen observer would probably notice that's because it's two different types of architecture interwoven together, because, you had the elegance design of high functionality that came from the mall a long time ago, and then, the shit that people threw on top just to make it work, right? So, you kind of get this feeling as you're walking throughout the keep in general. I don't know how much exploration your character would do. Would he spend much time looking about, or would he just, eventually leave and go down and out to explore the town beyond?
He would definitely take time to explore, especially the keep, before he heads to the town, because he's got a very strong sense of dissatisfaction.
Meeting Rayron usually has that effect on people, but you are continuing to walk around the keep, and one of the places that throws you off a bit is, I suppose, throws you off the most, is when you go into the basement. Because when you go down below, you see almost immediately that it has been turned into, there's a prison down there and storage facilities and so on and so forth that are down in this part of the basement. As we all know, if you go out and around and inside the back door, there's the morgue. But for here, that's the kind of stuff that you see down there. One of the things that you, again, in almost like a nagging sensation in your mind, you can almost feel, it's gone. It's gone. Kind of like in your head. It's probably the most vocation you get about it. Beyond that, it's just a degree of, you can say, apprehension about the caliber by which things have changed, the extent by which things have changed down there. Aside from exploring of the keep, make sure you don't check out any bedrooms. The door might blow up on you.
He's not given free roam though. If Rayron's not accompanying him, a couple of guards or one guard can go with him.
Oh, no, don't worry wrong. Where are you? Work, computer. Work. There you are. Sorry. And now it wants me to double click instead of single.
My name is Hithu. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Probably give him a bit of a strange look in. He's made out of rock, right?
Not exactly. I mean, yes and no. He is does seem rather tough. Looks like he's made out of rock, but his skin moves a lot more supple than you'd imagine an actual earth elemental or rock creature to be. So it is like clearly, if you were to, give the biceps a good old, he does feel legit hard like a rock, but he's more supple than that. Kind of like the difference between if you wore like a breastplate and Kevlar, right?
Yeah. Hello, Kithel. My name is Kroll. You're an interesting creature. And then he would literally just start
He gives him
body. Yep.
Does he go for them titties? Them pectorals? Gives him a.
How tall is Kithel?
Kithel's actually quite tall. I
don't think I can reach. So.
Oh no, not that tall. I mean, Josh can touch Will's forehead, despite how short Josh is. It's. Now I want to look and see how tall he is.
Height as Josh.
You little motherfucker. Neil, the first time I meet you, don't be offended if I slap you in the face. It's just one of those, sort of those. Yeah, all right, I had that coming.
I mean, I'd say I'd duck, but that would just bring me into range.
7 feet. Kithel's 7 feet tall. So you can definitely, of course, reach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
He's only 13 inches taller than me. Thank you.
By the gems.
All right. Anyways, go ahead.
That's all he says, and he just starts.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, as Kithel goes to respond, it's one of those things where sometimes you don't hear what people are saying to you because, unfortunately, you hear two people talking at you at once. And unlike a Zoom call where it will at least, silence Neil because he's the less important one speaking at the moment, you hear both, and so it gets a little garbled. Nonetheless, the priority is the one in your mind. And what you hear him say is, these creatures still exist.
Just got the image of Kithel just being like, "You are in my red zone."
He just starts talking to himself then in front of
Touchdown?
Kithel, and he's like, "Oh, so you're familiar with these? I've never seen one. Kind of strange."
And you say this aloud?
Yeah.
Okay. Kithel looks at you a bit quizzically and says,
Do you have company that I cannot see?
he'll look over your shoulder to the left and to the right.
Kroll also looks around and probably turns around, and then it's like, always.
Is this an affliction?
Is it? Just looks Kithel in the eye.
I know of many great medicine practitioners. Perhaps I can bring you to Haunt Gwen, and they can see to it that you get the right medications to silence the voices in your mind.
They are very good at dealing with voices.
Come now, stay a while and listen.
This is where we learned Kithel used to have a voice in his head.
Yeah, it was very grating.
Fucking. I have spent far too much time in the last week with Wade to deal with any more puns.
He says to Kithel, the voice is fine, but maybe they could help with this, and that's when he shows that decaying flesh on his shoulder.
That's what he's about to play.
Not the most appealing. I'd rather it gone.
So I had to mute Neil. So yeah, you show him the decaying flesh. He looks at it, and he's a stoic person, so his face is unflinching. You know, he doesn't like or anything like that. Like I imagine Rayrin had a rather large reaction to it. You know what I mean? You know, he always has to be the.
He's never fought on any battlefields. God, nothing gruesome ever happens on those.
I mean, he did one time hunt down a couple hundred people and slaughter them to the last, just to make sure they knew that he was the good guy there. But anyways, so he doesn't give any big reactions
any of them
to
say
it.
different?
You're the good guy. That's right. Tell me again. Oh, sorry. Anyways.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna have images of that when I sleep later. It's all good. So you yeah. Oh, sorry. So you what were we just talking about? He doesn't seem to have any reaction to the fact that you know you show him the part or whatever it is, and he says, you know,
Perhaps we should visit the medicine girls to see if they can help you.
Maybe later.
you can continue to look around, and honestly, that's the only part of the keep that, like I said, particularly stands out towards you. If you go upstairs and you see the large nest that's there, again, there is a small degree of familiarity with that nest up there as well, but not anywhere near as strong as the other stuff that you had seen down below. Besides, the nest is kind of unkempt to aging at this point. It's the wind has come by and kind of like tousled it a bit, and it's it feels like a little broken apart, not as groomed as it usually would be. Those are the only details I'd point out there. I don't know how much you'd explore around the rest of the town before I pull my attention over to Ilan.
He is curious, and there is that sense of something else wanting to familiarize itself with what the place now is. So after the keep, he would go and have a look around, but there's nowhere in particular that he seems to want to go.
Okay, cool. So he just kind of meander, and that's fine. So there are no seals in Adir, so that's not even possible.
That's so lame. We live in a fantasy world. Why can't we have some seals?
So you
Seals
Ilan,
awesome.
not in Adir,
Tesh wants seals.
not
Oh,
in,
baby.
but it's a landlocked.
Yeah, they can go in the huge lake.
No,
I want baby seals.
no freshwater seals in Adir.
In the real world, why not in this?
No freshwater seals. I don't need
Fantasy,
to know.
Make them fucking fly.
I don't need to have the horrible things happening to cute little baby seals in my fantasy world that Neil wants to do to them. So
Mountain
We don't need
seals.
that,
What
but I
about
want baby
mountain
seals.
okay, listen. He wants to wear sealskin clothing. That's what he wants to do. He wants to walk around in sealskin pleather pants. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna wear ultra tight pants that like cuffs up around his ankles.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know he's gonna do it. And there's gonna be like whiskers coming off of his buttocks because it makes it look so cute. Yep.
Not gonna be like baby seals.
Like a
though.
little nose, a little button nose right where his coccyx would be. You know what I mean?
That is.
Yep.
Oh my lord. You're a very kinky man, Scott.
Well, just because that allows the mouth to be nice and open right there. So that's the way Ray Ray would like it. So anyways, no seals in Adir. But Ilan, if you would like, you could transport some. Ilan, if you would like. There's the Prince of Rivers in Paradel.
Move on. We are
What
running out of time.
Really big chubby otters.
Oh, sorry, you're right. It is souls. Okay, thank you, Josh. Good call. He just wants more souls to manipulate. That's right. Okay. So you
I don't manipulate them. I sell them.
one of the things that you wanted to do when you stayed behind Ilan is that you wanted to go and have a conversation finally with Guinevere, because it's been a while since you guys kind of touched base on maybe the stuff that they've been working on, so on and so forth. And obviously you and I had a bit of a side texty thing going on, and that aside, what else did you want to converse with Guinevere about with her research? And I also think you meant to go calling by her abode, because I don't think anybody's ever actually gone by her house as of yet.
Yeah, I had never. Yes, we haven't done that, and I just want to see because there was the talk of. Originally, it was because of the talk of her being different, but I think we solved that for the most part. And then just see how the research is going.
Sure. So when you swing by to speak to her, probably originally inside the embassy. So when you swing by to talk to her, she'd be down there. Kithel wouldn't be there at the moment. So, and we'll even say that what's his face, Elliot isn't there. She'd probably be down there working on little samples of stuff by herself. So it's kind of one of those things where I've described that room a bunch of times. You go through the hallways, a door off to the side. You go walking, kind of like peeking through the door, and she's, hard at work, bent over a couple of crystals with you imagine that set up with the magnifying glass that sits on almost like a little bit of shaft that has a few different magnifying glasses that can rotate in. And so you literally see she's kind of looking over it and grabbing another magnifying glass and pulling it over and in so she can get an even tighter view of a crystal that's sitting there with some sort of metal prodding device, whether it be not tweezers, but something for poking with, which you can see she's kind of scratching at the surface of this thing. I don't know how it is you introduce yourself or whatever it is.
First of all, if it's one of those things where she clearly has literally no idea anyone's entered the room, he's literally just going to go and sit, is it at a table that you can sit across from?
Yeah, remember the far side of the room, and you very well probably don't remember, it's been seasons. The far side of the room has the table on it that had kind of the workstation that what it was used for, whatever it is. So she'd be sitting at that far side of the room with her back mostly to you with a bit of a slight angle as she's kind of sitting sideways prop. You know when you sit in the same place for a very long time, especially if you're on something like a stool, like a lab, you eventually sit in absolutely horrible ways for your back just to try to feel a little bit more comfortable. She's doing one of those cute kind of little sits where she's almost half up on her foot, turned to the side or whatever, but she's mostly got her back to you. And there's definitely more seats or whatever it is between where you are and where she is.
Yeah. Then I would like to move over that way, and can I have a look at can I try and see what she's working on before she's clearly noticed I'm there?
Yeah, roll me a perception check, please, and thank you.
Got that lovely +1. I'll take it.
All right, you'll take it meaning no modification?
No modification.
Okay.
What the fuck was that?
So you look over, and the stone that she happens to be working on is going to be a deep red in color. It's one of those things where I suppose assume you know better enough to think that this isn't just a standard stone. But if you had to put a coloration to it, you can imagine deep red, kind of like how a garnet is, right? So like a nice dark red stone. And so anyways, you look over and she's got this there. And like I said, she's kind of scratching at it. You don't know the significance of the stone, what she's doing or anything like that. You don't need to roll a stealth check or anything, but out of curiosity, what's your modifier?
Right now it's a 1.
Cool. So again, it's simply she's not aware of the fact that you're there as you kind of approach and you're looking. Do you say or do anything, or do you just wait until she notices you?
At this point, it's he's trying to figure out a way of not startling her because she clearly doesn't notice that he's walked through the entire room.
Mm-hmm.
So just, how goes the research? Just from a meter and a half away, just to be just don't want to get too close to scare her.
So a good distance away, you know what I mean? You are, 1, safe for Corona. Good job. And 2, And two, you are able to kind of get her attention without startling her. Just roll me a charisma check for funsies.
Like
Okay.
tries to be far enough away and speaks softly to make it come out nice. Rolls the charisma really badly and is like, "Hey, what you doing?"
So when you say that, when you say, my apologies, throw the line at me again, Tesh.
How goes the research?
She goes, she's not really startled at all. It's one of those things where she kind of like hears it and she like picks her head up and then just turns and looks at it and she goes, oh, when did you get here?
About 30, 40 seconds ago.
Oh,
I see you're a little involved in your work.
Yes, I've just been watching you.
exactly.
Well, there's a room. 30, 40 seconds is not long, you fuck.
He's like, I just kind of leaned in and went, and leaned back out.
You know, fuck you all. You're all creepy fucks.
Listen. If Biden's gonna be my new president, we gotta lean into those jokes too.
Oh my god.
So
Remind me to never leave anyone alone with you guys.
anyways, yeah, you you just look across the room and she's like, I'm just trying to clean off this darn crystal. It's Kithel says that they seem to react much not as well as long as they have any fibers or any other materials or whatnot on them. When we discovered this room, there was crystals partway through whatever process they use to clean them and all that. But anyways, there's just other material on it, stone that must have formed alongside it or what have you. I'm just scratching away.
I'm just checking to see if I have any magic that could help with that. I don't think so, though.
Oh no.
Ooh. Oh. Wow.
I probably shouldn't make jokes until after the election so we don't ruin his chances. Like none of us should just hold our breath and then take a deep one.
Stop that. I hate you all.
Sorry.
He would just so these are the gems that we use to amplify the anti-curse spell, right?
No, that not this one.
What's that one do?
It's a good question. Well, you know the moats that exist. We think that these allow you to we think, mind you, we think that these allow you to channel to the moats from afar. So we believe that if it's properly imbued, you can effectively carry the moat with you elsewhere, allowing you to bring its magic elsewhere. Now, we don't know if it takes the power of the moat, making the moat weaker when you bring it elsewhere, because you were bringing a portion of it with you as you go, or if the moat acts as a conduit, but by which other power is then imbued into the crystal that you bring elsewhere, therefore leaving the moat alone, or even if this is actually the channeler itself, if this is the conduit by which the moats were originally created in the first place. And my wife is staring at me through a doorway. If you want to talk about creeps that kind of like slip in from the side, and you're like, oh, how long have they been there? One moment.
Well, what did I miss earlier when I had the disconnect?
Look at his ears. Look at him. Look at his big ears.
He does have big ears.
He does have big ears. I hear your ears keep growing throughout your entire life. So the older
Oh
you
god,
get,
they're gonna get
the
huge.
bigger your ears get in relation to your body. So that's probably why he has big ears, because he's so old. You didn't actually miss anything.
Jake, your new character terrifies me. And I love it.
He's got some cool abilities I wanna use soon.
Uh-oh. That means we're likely gonna fight shit soon. It'll be
No,
interesting.
they're not the fighty abilities, don't worry.
Oh, now I'm intrigued. I'm
Yeah.
curious.
Just waiting for the right opportunity.
Oh,
Oh my
That came out
God,
of nowhere.
Tash, what the hell?
I had a coffee earlier. No, I mean, I had
I
very
had a
little
coffee.
sleep. So it's probably
Just.
that more than the coffee.
Look at it. Look how sassy he is. Why are you swearing at your wife? Stop, Scott.
What's up?
Stop swearing at Brit. What the hell, dude?
I'm not
We
swearing.
all sit there watching you do this at home. We're like, oh my God.
Oh, that symbolizes the number 2, not kunt, or however you say it.
That is 2.
No, 2.
That is rude.
2.
This is what the British longbowmen did to the French, because the French, when they captured you, would cut off their fingers. So all the English would do this to the French. So this is
that the history of
like
it?
that for us, yeah.
Oh, I always knew it was like
Because you
but I
can't
didn't know-
draw a longbow without those fingers.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Oh,
So they
really?
don't stand on
I
the
didn't
walls.
know.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
didn't know it. I knew that you guys, if you did
At
like
least that is the hearsay. Whether or not that's correct.
I mean,
not
I also know there's like this is another one, but I didn't know the meaning of it. You know, and this is another one, but I don't like. I know the kind of the meaning, but I don't know the origin. So, it's one of those things where I just recall seeing it as a child. Like if somebody was driving by, somebody beep beep, fuck you, you too. You know, Boston. You know, we have Josh is getting used to it. It's all good. Yeah, you know, we're very calm and patient drivers on the road. So, anyways, I love it when somebody like if you're in the right lane and it's an exit only lane, but you just merged in, so you have to move to the left, otherwise you're going to merge off to somewhere you don't want to be. And there's somebody in the left lane and they want to go to the right. So what you do is you put your left turn directional or blinker on to go to the left, so you don't have to leave the highway that you just merged onto. And the car that's in the left lane or middle lane, whatever, that wants to go right, what they do, instead of allowing you to, like, I suppose, speed up and go in front of them and go forward, and they go behind you and go forward so they can go where they want to, they speed up, travel alongside of you for way too long, get angry at you that you're still in their way, speed up more, cut you off, and then jack their brakes to make sure they slow down in time to not wipe out going 20 miles an hour around the curve to then take the exit. That way you can get into the lane you need to just in time. Yeah.
It'd be so much easier if you're all just in the left lane.
Why would you be in the left lane if you're trying to merge out to the right? Like you leave?
Because then anyone who wants to go in the right lane would just move over to the right to turn right. Because everyone's in the left lane.
So
by
in
default.
this scenario I was just describing to you, there's 3 lanes. You
Stop.
came in on the
Can we
right.
carry on with the date?
You then need to go. You came in. You have to go left, and the person won't let you go left. Why aren't you in the left lane? I just came in on the right lane. Yeah, but why aren't you in the left? Because I can't
but
get there.
everyone where you're from sits in the right lane.
No, they don't. They all sit in the left lane.
Yeah, but they would sit in the right lane if the left lane was the slow lane. Hmm?
Why would we do that? That's bad.
Because that's what we taught you to do.
No. You see, what we did is we walked around with guns. You walked around with like a sword.
We walked around with ships. That was like our thing.
What? Yeah, that's true, actually.
That's the old. I mean, I'm sure there's other tellings of the story as to why, but the explanation I remember getting in, I was a teenager, as to why we drive on the right side of the road and why you guys drive on the left is because when our nation was forming, you right-handed people rule the world, right? And you always kept your pistol on your right-hand side. So when you walk past strangers on the road, you'd walk on the right-hand side so they wouldn't be within a grab's reach of your pistol, so that you could have defense. And so it just became a thing where we'd stay on the right so people couldn't grab your pistol. And then when that became like wagons, which obviously was immediately, and then that became like cars, it just became the way that we just stayed on the right. That could very much be wrong, but I just remember that being explained to me as a teenager. So
There's
I was
lots
like,
of
oh,
stuff like that. Like, like spiral staircases you probably don't have it so much of there, but like in
have
castles
them.
and whatnot,
Yeah.
they
we have
always
less
go,
of those, but
they always go in the same direction because you would draw your sword in the same. Everyone would use the sword in the same hand because that's what you're taught to do. Because left hand is devil. So anyone who tried to use their sword on these spiral staircases with their right hand would hit the central pillar if they tried to swing, whereas the people defending from above would be able to get a nice clean swing down.
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So
Use a
we're-
spear. Slip past the defenses. Nothing's in the way.
Have you ever tried to use a spear in a spiral staircase?
No.
I haven't, but I've taken my penis, which is a good no.
And that concludes our session for today. What was the last thing I was going to say about all that? I'm so sorry.
Look at Tish's face right now. Oh, he's so disappointed.
This is what I woke up for.
Yes. That's what I woke up for too, Tesh. What was the last thing I was going to say? So sorry. We were talking about staircases, all of that. Shit, there was something else.
You were talking
Right,
about the whether it was a conduit or whether it had the power or whether it turned the stone into a conduit.
Oh, you're going back in game. I was going to say something out of game, but I lost it, so it's all good.
Fuck it.
It's all good. It's all good. So back in game. So yeah, she more or less, she's saying, I don't know if this is the conduit, if the other thing's used as conduit, if we steal some of that power to put into this, or if it just draws its own power. We don't know. And so pulling back into character again, she's like, so it's kind of we need to have more clean crystals for us to get more clean tests to discern. The problem is if what it literally is doing is stealing power from the motes, which are then in turn linked to the elementals. If it's pulling power from the elementals, then in theory, if we pull enough, we're going to extinguish the elemental. And if we extinguish the elemental, we don't know how to put a new one in place. So it's a bit of a dangerous test. We've only discovered one such elemental that's linked to the moat, and we can already see how small he is. We're kind of at the end of our ability to be able to test and don't know where that ledge is. And if we try to test at the other moats that we've discovered or have assumed where they are, without knowing the state of the elementals that are bound to them, we don't know what damage we could be doing or even if we're having an impact to get the appropriate results from our tests. It's genuinely frustrating. It'd be nice to know where everything was so we can properly map it out.
Well, a couple of things. Firstly, from my experience with the moats, the positive and negative moats that we believe are on the castle, I have a fairly decent idea that I imagine they would be conduits themselves, because portals are able to be opened up in those positions into those planes.
Yes, but that moat that you're referring to, which sounds like a duality, does that moat draw its power from itself and so directly to the planes, or does it draw its power to another location where an elemental is bound feeding it? What is the source of its ability? We don't know.
We do, however, have, this is the other thing, we do know where the location of another elemental, I believe, out of character, the water elemental, right? We never actually went and spoke with that, even though we kept meaning to.
I was told that you knew where a second one was, but I wasn't told that I had the authority to go and investigate that one. So we haven't been doing so. And I know that part of that hiccup was, this is what Elliot was saying, was that he knew where it was because it was discussed in the past. But there's a bit of a fear in heading directly there because it's either a long trek from one location or a trackable trek from the other. And the concern is that we'd tip the hand of, tip the knowledge to the hand of others that we don't necessarily want it. So I've been kept in, I suppose, the dark, she says as she looks around the candlelit room.
Well, I think it's about time we move on that for multiple reasons. We need to know more about the moats, and if we can use these crystals in an effective way, I could definitely make use of the positive energy if we could gain one of these. The other thing that I came here to talk about is it was mentioned that who was it that mentioned that she didn't see herself?
Oh, Dwayne.
It was mentioned to me that you.
Yeah, boy, Dwayne. Sorry.
That was loud. I need to turn you down.
Oh, hold on. Voice mod had an update and may have changed my sound levels. You go ahead.
No, it's not that. It's me adjusting my settings. I already thought that it was probably a little too loud. That you didn't seem yourself recently, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. And as much as I'd like to say that's just me coming to check up on you, I will admit it is a duality of wanting to make sure you're okay, but also we have in fact entrusted you with a fair amount of information that not many people are privy to. Just wanted
What?
to
No,
make sure.
Dwayne and I, we get along great. Is he concerned about me? There should be nothing to be concerned about. I haven't done anything wrong. I've kept the research to myself, and has something been said
You've done
otherwise?
nothing wrong. You've done nothing wrong.
I want to say I'm here for your friend, but I'm fucking checking up on you. You good?
No. I'd say it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
I wanted to be honest. So just as I said, you've done nothing wrong. I'm just being honest. We just had been told that you had not been yourself, and we just wanted to make sure that everything was okay.
She says, I don't know why he would think not. I see Dwayne not every day, but often. I think everything's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know why he'd be concerned.
Now I'm gonna just, me as person believe, me as character also believe, but want to make sure.
I mean, again, she seems perplexed. Like, why would Dwayne think that
Yeah.
she's not being okay?
Is it okay?
She also,
Problem
the fact that she seems a bit confused, she might not know the instance by which you're referencing. Because you specifically mentioned Dwayne, and she's like, everything's good with Dwayne. But it's less Dwayne that was the situation that you had heard about.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was it?
Elijah.
What was the situation
And Rena.
exactly?
Elijah and Rena.
That's right. It's okay. I believe the situation he was referring to was something to do with we did know their names. Yeah, I'll just say Elijah and Rena.
Oh, I didn't really get to meet Rena. I'm sure she's wonderful. I didn't really meet her.
And Elijah? He's a Malton, right? Maltese, right?
Yep, he is. I suppose just for the sake of honesty and all that, Elijah had a relationship with my father.
Oh. Now, if I remember right, the last time questions were pushed in this direction, you asked not to talk about them. Is that correct?
She specifically did that with Dwayne there, yeah. sort of a thing. You guys didn't really inquire about it
No,
as
there
PCs.
was also
Oh, did you?
another
Okay, yeah.
time.
Yep.
If I no,
She
wait,
looks a
I
little-
wasn't there.
Either way, I'm sure your character would have heard a bunch of information,
Yeah.
including what you heard from Dwayne. So you could say something like that, and she gets a little bit sheepish. But do me a favor, roll me a charisma check as you say that, because your character is intentionally trying to come off as less abrasive. So you're trying to be.
Oh my god.
Would you like to modify
will.
that one?
Fuck. Well, that's not good. I don't want to waste a roll, a luck dice on something like this.
I mean, is it not important? It's up to you, man. I don't even know how many luck you have, honestly. I mean, I can click a button and find out, but that's too much work for me. So,
What do you guys think?
should he luck to keep things on the up and up with little lady friend?
If it's important to you, then
you
do
do
it.
you, yeah. You don't, we trust you, Tash.
Fuck it.
Fuck it, luck it. That's
We'll
true
see
words
what
have never
we're at
been.
as well. I'll take a 3. And there's 1 dice left. Okay, I wish there was more dice than that. I feel worse about that now.
So just now, a Winifred's Wisdom came in, but that of course came afterwards. So you would have that for a later roll, just that you're aware.
Yep,
but
thank you.
I didn't realize that your daddy was here. So continuing on,
What?
Aklo.
Oh, thank you, Oklo.
Yeah. Say thank you, Daddy. I
You
could
guys
pull it
always
in,
make everything weird.
I could pull it in tight for that one too. Be like, here we go. Thank you, Daddy. All right. So, anyways,
I hate everything about all of this.
So anyways, you continuing on, you say that to her, just trying to like keep things calm as you ask her about her father and whatnot. And she's like, and roll me, sorry, that was to keep things cool. Roll me your insight or whatever it's called in this game. Now, sense motive.
Sense motive.
Cool. You can see that it's one of those things where she's bringing up her dad. You don't offend her or anything. You actually do kind of keep it so she understands that you're just genuinely being ignorantly asking, like one of those not ignorant, sorry, innocently asking. It's not like you're being intentional or even trying to bore in too hard. You can see that something about it is the conversation of her father bothers her. If you as a person, because Ilan's actually rather I suppose insightful. He's actually good with reading people. He has the martyr's blessing on him. She's kind of one of those people. She's in that state of individuals' real life that we know, where she has something kind of bottled up inside her, and perhaps releasing that would do good for her, whether it be talking about it or having some sort of cathartic moment or whatever it might be, would probably be a huge step towards, I guess, a degree of redemption or getting over it, whatever it might be. But she's still kind of in that area where it's like constipated in her mind. It's blocked, where she doesn't want to press on. She seems recoiled from the conversation.
Okay, how can I word this? I have an idea about how I want to go about this. I got to think about how to word this properly.
Yo, bitch, what up?
Okay. Look, completely put other matters aside in terms of roles and positions. You obviously don't like the idea of bringing up your father. And I assume situations involving. But sometimes, and believe me, I need to learn more of this myself. Sometimes it does help to talk about it. At least just someone that is either completely uninvolved or someone you trust.
Roll me a persuasion or diplomacy check, sorry.
I will choose diplomacy out of that then. I have I will plus 16. Thank fuck.
You didn't tell me if you were going to use Winifred's wisdom.
Not on that one.
She says, it's just, I left home, for a reason. I know Elijah, I know Elijah too, because, we were both part of his experiments for different reasons. It's what do you know of the Maltese?
Well, unfortunately, I grew up in Paradale, so markedly wrong facts, I imagine. All I really know is that there's a lot of magicians, people who can do amazing things with magic. Now, I of course was told that it was all dangerous and needed to be stopped, but yeah, I've obviously since learned that not everything I was taught was the truth.
Well, we do use magic. There we have our own way of magic. Actually, kind of very similar to the magics that the moles seem to use, but there's differences. Researching to figure it out. I'll be honest though. Some of this research is selfish. One of the reasons why I came to Hodgwen originally is because I knew that the mole had their own magics and that it was semi-similar to ours, though honestly, it was more of a hope that they were similar and fortunate that it turned out to be that way. I study medicine. I picked that up later in life. She's in her early 20s, or mid 20s, whatever it is. I didn't always study medicine, not like this. But I study it to heal me. You've not been around that long, but in the time that you've been around, have you ever seen me use magic?
She used magic to help Raymon's arm, right?
Yes.
Yes. I believe you helped with Rayron's infliction on the how long ago was that?
Many months ago.
Months, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that was the first night I met you, actually, yes?
Oh yeah, you were there that day. That was the first time I met all of you.
It was a very chaotic day.
Yeah. Do you remember how much it affected me after I helped him?
Now, me as a person cannot remember back what happened.
His character probably wouldn't have either. He had a swirl of chaos going on around him.
No, I don't believe so. There was a lot going on.
I'm the daughter of a rather powerful caster, and I was born with the innate ability as well. Simple spells come hard now. It's difficult if I can even pull it off. The magics that I do pull off when I do have a combination of medicinal healing rituals that I've studied and a tiny spark of magic to kind of pull it all together. Kind of like putting together a group of combustible ingredients into a tight container, and then using a simple spell just to spark it so it explodes rather than hurling a great ball of fire. You know, a mage can throw the fire, but I require all those tools to get a similar result.
I probably would actually know because I have the where is it?
Both spark and fireball.
Alchemy, craft alchemy.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So he would just be nodding when she says like, I assume you know, sort of thing.
So I was once very capable of magic. I am less so now. Elijah went through some of my father's experiments. He was... The only word that I would want to use to describe it is tortured. The screams of horror and pain. But what came out the other side is a man who is... His inside is encased in ice in some way, or whatever the case may be. He is part of a very small select group of Maltese mages that were literally created by my father's research that allow them to manipulate all magics colder, deeper. They can construct a massive wall of ice and keep it that way. But that kind of research is less effective on people as they get older. Much like how as you get older in age, you heal less rapidly. Wounds tend to take longer to recover from, whether it be a broken bone or a sprained ankle. These kind of magical adaptations happens less effectively, less successfully. The older the patient or recipient, victim. Elijah was young, older than me, when I was there helping my dad with his research. And anyways, he has some pretty intense magics. Let's just say I would hope not to be an fire elemental around that guy. But anyways, after that research was successful, proof of concept worked, other research needed to be done. One problem solved, on to the next. No need to fine-tune something that works to make it a little bit more efficient. Then came the problem, not of defending ourselves against the military and stopping their advancement. Then it came the problem of defending ourselves against the Congress. One of the perks that the Congress has is their assets, their resources. If they want to cast a spell or do some sort of whatever, they have the resources to accomplish it, whereas we struggle to have them. But more importantly, they have the training and the magical ability. If we can't take away their resources because they come from Ascaria, and Ascaria is too great of a power for us to compete with, and their ties too close with Yovance to disrupt the supply chain. If you can't disrupt their training because it happens too far from us, too far afield, for us to disrupt their schooling, or for us to impact their culture in such a way that we can't disrupt the learnings that the young gets, and the fact that their training started hundreds of years prior to them stepping foot on our lands, then the only thing we could disrupt is their ability to use magic. And so, much like before, a new remedy was crafted. A disease, if you will. Decorative. Layer by layer, stripping away what you were born to have. Like watching your sight slowly get blurred, colors fade, until eventually you stare off into blackness, waiting for death to succumb. Take over.
At that sort of like spiral, Eleanor's just going to speak up, and it essentially, he would have been reacting throughout all that as the realization towards the end, and he was said, "How long do you think you have until it's gone for good?"
It's not a steady decline that I've noticed. Actually, if you do nothing, it seems to slow down the degradation. If you use magic, it seems to have spikes of your best bet is to only do it when you need to. Like when you see somebody suffering from a horrible wound, and you want to do everything in your power to help. You do what you need to. But yeah. There were others. I don't know if there are anymore.
Well, there is something that he's going to sort of like make sure once again he's going to look to see that like no one's walked in or anything. And he just
You see three other people standing behind you.
so, hi. No, it's just like he's about to say something that he knows is relatively sensitive. And he's just going to say, just so you know, we have had a Sill visitor in Curseful. Elliot has brought them in to help him with his work. If anyone could potentially help with something like this, maybe they can.
They also have a different take on magic. Maybe.
Either way, work towards this isn't selfish. If you can figure out how to fix this, then should it arise again with someone else, we may be able to help them.
It's something I have been working on again. It's why I originally came to Hodgwen, but the problem is a cure worse than the affliction? I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. I love my nation. I love my country, and I trust my queen. The king before, of course, he only made the decision to look into such research or to ask such things of my father because of desperation, and my father did such things out of desperation, and I helped my father because of his desperation. But if this could work, if this could actually solve the affliction on Eroth that is the Arcane Congress, is a cure not worse than the disease in and of itself?
There are multiple ways of dealing with a wound. You can burn it shut, or you can sew it shut. just because one way might work doesn't mean it's the best way.
Every other attempt to, I suppose, approach the wound that is the Arcane Congress has just been met with further infection. As you've seen here in your own home. As you probably saw when you were in Paradel before, and as I've seen my entire life in Malta. You say there's a Sill now. It'd be great to talk to him, just to hear what horrors they've probably experienced. I'm sure you go east, you go west, north, south, you'll hear about the infection that is the Arcane Congress.
The issue is this. Now, I should reiterate that we've had nothing but good relations with Malta, and I would like to keep it that way. And I don't imagine that they would be using this against us for whatever reason. But say the Arcane Congress
They don't have a delivery system yet.
No, but I imagine they will eventually, yes?
My father is dead. If somebody's continuing that research, who is it? I don't know, maybe Laszlo.
Well, in either way, wanting to cure yourself of this, whether you destroy the cure afterwards or not, I would urge you not to destroy it in case you may be able to help someone else who also deserves it. But I'll do what I can to help you cure this. And if you choose to destroy the cure afterwards, so be it.
Well, maybe a key to curing it would be these motes. There is links that exist to different, we believe, planes of existence, including a plane of, say, positive and negative energy. Perhaps a link such as that would allow one to find a way of manipulating this disease. Perhaps a link such as that would allow one to find a way to cure it.
Well, and we have two leads at least to go on now. We need to get you a conversation with the Sill, and we need to go visit that elemental. There's something I've learnt very abruptly recently, over the last, months now. Doesn't seem like it. Having a goal, even just a step towards that goal, doesn't have to mean you can see the end in sight at all. Just taking those steps helps, and keep you moving.
Yeah. Is one of those things where you could see kind of like your response more or less fell on deaf ears. Like she heard the words, but they're not going to mean anything to her for probably minutes, hours, days, whatever it might be. She does say, Ilan, don't tell them. I don't need pity. I don't want pity. And I you know Rayron, he would certainly pity being a Maltese himself and having been born with, don't share with anybody. Not even Kithul or Elliot understands. So only Elijah would know. And even he wouldn't fully understand.
I won't tell anyone if you don't want me to. But understand that
Once more with feeling.
what I'm doing is not out of pity at all, and you'd be surprised what the others can be like. Although I can understand your apprehension. But you don't have to worry. I won't tell anyone. I'll let you do the talking. I'll just arrange the meetings.
Well, let's back to research. At least with helping with this kind of research, it gives me no herb that I can get my hands on, no mixture of medicines, not even the delightful mushroom that lives around here has been able to help me in any way whatsoever. So maybe these moats have a secret. Maybe that sill has a secret, or maybe we just learn how to burn down the world. Yeah, she says, like haplessly waving a crystal around.
Well, that would be interesting knowledge, and I would definitely support destroying that one.
Well, why'd you come by?
Just to check on things.
Well, appreciated.
So he was just I'll go arrange those meetings. Have a great day.
She says thanks, but you can get the you can just roll a sensitive. Find a departing one, an intro one, a middle one, a departing one. So yeah, with that sense motive, you can see like it's one of those things where you're cramming for an exam, and like you're sitting there and you're like so focused, you're so studying that like time seems to pass, like hours just roll by and you don't even realize that it's happening, and then finally the like something breaks your attention, but like breaks your focus on it. But what breaks your focus on it is like all bad stuff. Bad news. I know your cat got run over or something. Actually, it's good news, but you know what I mean. The idea of focusing back on it just seems so mundane. Like you can see she's probably just gonna sit there and be contemplative, like internal.
What time of day is it? This is still at the embassy, right?
For you, yeah. You would stay behind, so it's like midday, late afternoon, something like that.
Just before he's like about to leave, was like, you know what? I'm about to have lunch. Would you like to join me?
Huh? Yes. She looks down and goes, "Oh, my wife hasn't made me breakfast yet." Just kidding. She says, "Yeah, that sounds great."
Okay.
Don't send that one to her. I truly appreciate every time she does that. I want to think like I'm some ungrateful ingrate.
Sil, execute Order 66.
Oh.
What did I miss? What's happening?
I will execute Order 66
What
right
did I
now.
not read in chat while I was trying to... Oh, well, he's gone.
Took care of it, guys. Order 66 taken care of. Done and done.
But yeah.
Well, I'm still in the right spot.
You always are.
Oh, am I in half, am I? Yep.
Anyways, look how downtrodden he looks. He's like, oh, that's right. I have no power here. Oh. Andy's muted. Good. So anyways, she'll actually roll a diplomacy check, Tesh.
Okay. I said, I feel like an American voter.
I was gonna say I am gonna use the Winifred's wisdom on that one. I tried to say it before it appeared, but I failed. So that's
fine.
Up to you.
So that gives you a 23. Do you want to modify that one to try to get that elusive 25 or higher? Because you've been crushing them 25s, baby boy.
No, I'm gonna leave it at 23. I don't need to waste another dice on this.
She will go along with you to lunch, and you guys can. You can try to cheer her up. I'll have you make one last roll because you did convince her to go. So no matter what, you're gonna have a positive impact on her. Well, you have a good chance of having a positive impact on her. Just to finalize this, could you just roll me a charisma check just for how that kind of goes for that cheer him upper? That's not bad. Do you want to luck it?
No.
I mean, again, like I said, you no matter what, you're gonna have that positive impact unless you rolled like absolute garbage. But with
I mean, you use your Winifred's wisdom. That
you already did. You already did.
I already used that. Yeah.
Yep.
Question from chat. The affliction that kills your connection to magic is a separate experiment to the Ice Mage creation, or is
After the
Yes,
Ice Mage
that's-
creation was
that's
was a proof of concept that could be replicated, they more or less they could have improved the process to make it less horrifying and do it on less young
I got that,
people.
yeah.
But instead of continuing that research, it was like it works. Next. You know, it's like how the Industrial Revolution. It's like, yeah, we could make this pollute rivers less, or just now learn something else to produce.
There's a
So
lot
Elijah-
Ilan wants to
Elijah
comment
isn't
on
gonna
that,
get this.
But yeah, there's a lot Ilan wants to comment on regards to all of that, but now is not the time.
Elijah was part of experimentation that gave him incredible ice power, even if Messy rolls like absolute garbage. So he seems like the big fop of the of Aurorum. You can send that to him. This was an entirely separate bit of research. The father may have done other research as well that either she knows and hasn't told you about or isn't aware of herself. But those two are certainly ones that have been revealed to you. It should be noted that the father died in a house fire. So, and it should also be noted that again, she has burn marks and she wears her hair over. Yeah.
Look, there's once again, that's an area that Ilan will want to question, but later, not now. Now is not the time to push that area.
Yeah. So anyways, cool. So she will end up going to lunch with Ilan, and he, you know, is able to cheer her up a bit just by like have a conversation. I mean, he happens to know a couple of medicinal herbs himself. And so I suppose that's kind of like a basis of conversation, as he's able to charismatically bring up like the topic of those herbs, and she's able to talk about different ways of diluting and refining them. And he comes to the realization, shit, if I only had that method before, I could make some cheddar. But you know, kind of moves on from there. You do get one more bit of understanding from this conversation. Her understanding of medicine is actually pretty damn great. If she had worked with these slumbering weirdos that exist inside the city, they honestly could design their own type of medicinal schooling if they wanted to, maybe with a little less religion and a little more alchemy involved, because she wasn't originally in, as you've just described, alchemist, right? She had to kind of pick that up as she went along. They could, in theory, work on that to make something better, especially if Mycen got involved, because Mycen himself is incredibly good with the production and like extraction of helpful reagents and whatnot from herbs. So kind of like a trifecta of the three of them could actually make something of value. To put that in mechanical terms, assuming those characters are all still around in the future and Jake doesn't come back and murder everybody, because, you know, Jake, they could, in theory, make like an academy of alchemy that could be useful for future NPCs. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So we've got about 20 minutes left to our session here. What other stuff did your characters want to focus on while we were playing today? That was a really important one that I wanted to make sure that we didn't skip for her, because I knew if you rolled well, you'd finally get a better understanding of somebody that got introduced, I think, session 1 of last season.
Ages and ages ago. That,
maybe
I just realized, that was
ago.
like Ilan's first day in the capital as well. That was a chaotic day. That was like one day that took like 3 sessions, I think.
Yeah, it was a while.
It was a while.
It was a while. So anyways, yeah, anything else that your characters individually wanted to focus on, or perhaps if there's nothing specifically kingdom-wise you wanted to focus on, I personally would like to see, just to kind of get it out of the way so that next session we can jump back into other things, the introduction of Ilan to Crawl, because the two of them are going to have to meet at some point in time, and that's going to be... Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, side note, I did eventually move my Zoom meeting chat from the screen over here. So I'm staring at you over here, because the way that this camera works is when I stare over here for too long, the focus goes out, and that's annoying as hell for everybody to hear. So, hi! You can see your faces in front of me instead of like this now. So, you know, that's good.
You should have done that a long time ago.
What?
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 I
literally
should have done that a long
camera
time
of it.
ago.
Oh, but it didn't really matter before, you know.
What do you mean? I like looking at you when I'm talking to you, Scott.
Yeah, but I don't want to look at. I suppose I do want to look at you, Neil.
Yeah, you do.
Oh my.
I'm looking
yeah.
I'm looking directly at you because you're directly beneath me, Neil.
Speaking of looking, I'm actually going to be getting glasses soon.
Hey.
I'll be able to actually see you guys properly.
First time in a long time, or first time ever?
First time in a long time. I am apparently very far-sighted.
I was first time in a long time as well. No,
It was
hot.
when they put those they tested my eyes to see what my prescription would be. Then they have that test one to show you what your prescription would be like. And I put it on and looked down. I'm just like, oh shit! There's an HD option.
Isn't that funny how that works? Like the first time you see in a long time.
Yeah, I could swear that I was seeing fine, and then they gave me the thing
You don't
where
notice
it's
because
got,
it's a gradual thing.
exactly, yeah. They gave me the thing where it's got the big text to tiny, the lines of dialogue of whatever it is. And I remember she handed me that when I had the glasses on, and I was like, oh yeah, this is about right. It seems I didn't really see much of a difference. And then she's like, okay, now take them off, and I was like, oh. Oh, I could read half of that.
Yeah.
Being nearsighted, for me, it's always, I mean, I'm sure you got a degree of this as well, but being nearsighted, it's always all right, 1 or 2?
Oh, no,
One?
I got
Or 2
a
or
good
1?
15 minutes of 1 or 2 or
A
or 2 or
or
3
B.
or 3 or
A
4
or
or
B.
4 or 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Just throughout the entire thing. It took ages to get it. And then for both eyes.
Yeah. I hadn't had one in so long, 8 years or something. So it's totally different. The technology was totally different. I went in and the first bit they do.
Funny.
I was not expecting that there was an eye puff thing
Yeah,
in the middle of it.
that's
that
what I
caught
was
me
told.
so off guard.
I was like, and it went, pff, and I was like, oh, I was expecting
Yeah,
it because
and
they
she's
told
like,
me,
oh,
but
yeah, you
I
probably
just
didn't
giggled.
know about
I was
that.
just sitting there giggling, and they were like, this guy's fucking weird.
The first one never affects you. The second one, I'm always like, because your brain's, of course, getting ready to react to it.
I she didn't warn me because of course I'd mentioned that I had glasses before, but I didn't mention that it was a long time ago. And so the first puff goes in, I'm like, oh, and she's like, oh yeah, you probably never experienced that before. I'm like, no, I was not expecting air to be blown at my eye.
So our optical assistants, kind of like the job that Wade had forever ago, that they have to tell you there will be a puff before every single solitary puff. So they warn you literally before they puff, and they warn you again before they puff. Probably because in our country you get sued if you didn't warn each time.
That's actually probably a good point. Yeah.
You know, for like a half a pound of pressure on the. But anyways, I actually, this past time I got my glasses done was the first time in literally my entire life my prescription didn't change. So the pair I'm wearing now, this prescription, is the same prescription as the pair before. And that is the first time, and I had to get new lenses just from them being scratched up. But first time in my life, and so my optometrist, who I've had for years, he was like, oh, look at that, you finally plateaued. Welcome to middle age. And I was like, I thought that's when things go down. He goes, no, you stopped growing. He's like, now you start falling apart. I was like, oh no. I was like, well, at least that happened at 33. He goes, no. I was like, oh. I love people with shitty personalities. They make me happy. Anyway, so with a little bit left to see this interaction, I actually want Rayron to set the stage because he understands Ilan and he understands what Kroll can come off as. So Rayron, could you set the stage for the two of them to meet? And obviously you'd be able to be into it as well.
Kroll's exploring Kurzweil at the moment with a small escort. You know, there's a guard with him, whatever. I think it's probably time for Rayron to go and have a little chat with Ilan. Knows Ilan's in Howd Gwen. Go and find the man and have a wee talk. On the balcony, definitely not battlements, balcony
yeah.
of the embassy.
So then, getting big for your bridges. Push him off the edge.
So Rowan would find, call, summon, ask Ilan for a wee meeting prior.
Hello.
Enjoying your time in Howd Gwen, I hope.
Yes, learning some interesting things, but yes.
It is an interesting place.
Very much so. It's been a couple months. It feels like years.
What was it you did
In a
before?
good way. Pardon?
What was it you did before?
I ran a stall, sold medicinal supplements.
Ah, you were a doctor of sorts.
Not quite. Things to just help people get through the day.
Alcohol?
Drugs.
I see.
I was fairly decent at talking people into paying that little bit extra. So my talent in herbalism helped with just getting by. All in all, I was just letting life happen, and it was... I don't miss it. I thought I would.
I miss
There
my
are
past
parts
life.
I miss, but yeah.
Yes, I miss my past life in part. Though I've been lucky enough to carry through many of the treasured parts of it with me. Ilan, you and I are chosen. If I were to die for some reason, you would be the last remaining chosen in Adir. There are some things that you must know, that you must continue to tell to the chosen, should you be the last one. One believes that the chosen will be chosen. Keep an eye out. There are people you will see with potential. I initially picked you up because I thought you would be useful. Turns out you are different. We exist in Adir. It was once a land owned by the ancient Mole Empire. He motions to the renovated ruins, in effect. The evidence is everywhere. We met an individual risen from the undead, an ancient mole king of sorts.
Interesting.
We had to kill him.
I was about to mention, from what I can gather, the mole weren't the nicest, or at least some of them weren't the nicest. And if he's a king, then yeah. So that's not unexpected.
The same could be said of the chosen. It is now your duty as a member of the chosen to uphold a deal. A bargain that I made in some level of desperation. It is the chosen's sacred duty. I made a deal with an infernal being, a devil.
Now, you're going to actually see fairly little reaction, almost as if he was expecting this coming. And you could probably tell that, like, this is you'll see more of a realization of, oh, this is what the talk's about.
Inland, you must understand that not all kings are good. I traded, I sold thousands of souls belonging to the mole. For the benefit of those that live in Adir today. I had the devils remove a form of soul gel that was spreading across the rivers, infecting the water sources that Haldgwen relied upon. They were being pressed into service, water rations being used as payment for service in an army. I made this deal to save lives, but not all kings are good.
You can see, instead of there would have been a bit of like confusion when you mentioned how many souls, but then you can sort of see as you're explaining the story, him looking around, just sort of like, you have to imagine he's connecting the dots. He's seeing where what you're saying fits in with what he's been told of events and stuff, and he's putting it together and just. If I'm to understand this deal, you're familiar. I imagine he is part of it.
Phaedril is an imp lent to me by my... Rayrin makes a face as if the word leaves a bad taste in his mouth. Patron. He provides information and eyes and ears where I cannot be.
Be careful with that one. The night that you were sick, he attempted to get me to ask for his assistance, get him to help in some way with you, or in my revenge.
You said that the angel identified you as a chosen, did it not? Perhaps
Yes.
Phaedril could do the same. Divinity and infernal power perhaps can identify us. Theory is... Anyway, I digress. The ramifications of this deal are not fully known. We possess 2 boons. We have used 1. 2 remaining boons, the power of which is not fully known. The deal must be agreed upon by both a member of the Chosen and the devil in question. We used 1, perhaps hastily wasted it. We had every single member of the Haldgwen Council summoned to a field in the dead of night, and they were slaughtered. I'm not proud of this, but it has been done. I'm not asking for forgiveness or judgment. This is a duty that you have been unfairly given, perhaps. Nonetheless, these devils cannot enter Adir while a chosen lives. They cannot enter Adir unless they are given permission. They cannot affect our lives to encourage our deaths, so on and so forth.
The use of the first boon. It was not only, I believe, it was not only a waste of the boon, but There were many other ways that could have been handled. And I talked with Leon about that as much. Merely taking them prisoner would have been yields better. But as you said, that is something that is past. I did not know what was going on, but I had theories. The arm, Phaedral. That night I saw him for what he was. And although I shouldn't have the knowledge, I never studied anything to do with any of this. Something inside my head clicked, and I understood what he was trying to do.
I made the mistake of hiding this from Valrun once. That mistake cost me dearly. I wanted to not make that mistake again.
Good. Thank you for telling me. Knowing what this knowing how it would affect how I look at you. Now, I already knew part of it, so you are lucky that I saw who you can be, who you really can be first.
Forgiveness is in your nature, I suppose. Rarian would take a step forward, put a hand on Ilan's shoulder, and then say, "Don't worry, Ilan. This is my sin to bear." I
No.
tell you as a warning, not so that you may bear it as well.
I told Leon I was willing to take on blame for whatever you both had done in the past or will do. I told him that, and I mean it. It's all still processing. I just... Now that you have told me, should anything involving it come up again, we can talk plainly and solve the issues rather than you're sick in your room asking for no help.
You must forgive me.
I understand.
I'm still getting to know you, Ilan, and
You barely knew me that day. It's fine. Hell. As I said, it feels like years, but it's only been months.
well, although I may not have relied upon you then, I am learning that you can be a well of strength, my friend. Let us pray that I draw upon you in my dark times and not other sources.
Thank you. I know that although you seem to not see it yourself, there is good in you. Quite a lot, actually. Just sometimes the goal outshines the rest. Just try to look at the whole picture.
You remember I began telling you of this ancient mole king.
Yes, yes. Yes.
I did not merely mention him idly, although I fear I am drawing more similar to him as time goes on. He has infested a person. Perhaps that is a poor choice of words. He is piggybacking along with a person who would have died otherwise. A crawl, a hobgoblin. His spirit is still here, and although he is not the best person, he's knowledgeable, powerful, and I suspect useful. There are many secrets lying under our feet, secrets of the mole that we should be wise enough to avoid disturbing or clever enough to use for good. Would you come and speak with him, with me?
Of course.
He puts me on edge. He wants trying to eat me.
There's sort of like a pause of like, what? And then, all right, undead. Okay. Okay. Let's go meet this individual. Hopefully the one piggybacking is strong. Of mind, at least.
Well, he's certainly old. Rowan would turn and head towards the...
And away we go. You're muted.
And unfortunately for Jake, we're gonna have to hold it off for next week because Neil had to give a speech.
Every week.
Neil had to give a speech.
Look,
that one was important, though. That was good.
that was important.
40 minutes screen time in 3 sessions. Thanks. guys.
I'm sorry, Jake, but you asked for a speech and I hadn't given one.
True.
Like I've got the receipts. I said I couldn't let my boy down.
Do you regret?
No, but that was important because otherwise there's kind of always been a wedge between the chosen of the martyr and the other chosen.
And that was a perfect time to do it in a way that he would react that way. That was good timing.
I mean,
I got a surprise for you when he's come back.
All right.
Oh no.
Well, we have to get out of here
helicoptering.
because it takes a solid 4 minutes to get this out of your head. So people at work aren't like, why is there a crease in your head that looks like you wear headphones for hours?
Just take it off and switch it for another toupee.
That honestly, that got me because I took a solid couple seconds to be like, oh.
Neil, I will fucking come for you. I will find you. I know Cambridge like the back of... Oh, you live in shitty Cambridge. Never mind.
Excuse me?
Sorry, I forgot.
Wow.
All right, anyways. All right.
Exactly, Belita. I would agree. Who even is Jake anymore?
Oof.
And with that, we'll
don't
see.
even see enough of him to warrant a place on the card.
Oh no!
I'll see you tonight.
Jake.
I'll see you tonight for Lost Initiative. I'll see you tomorrow night for Throne Keeper.
Screw Li.
I'll see you
and
Friday
come for more
night.
Kingmaker.
I'll see you Friday night to see what happens with Regicide because Neil got so involved. Yay, Neil! Bye, everybody.